Hi, I'm your Common Sense Gay, and welcome to my multi-part series where I debunk Dan, the limo driver, who allegedly drove Donald Trump to the airport in 1995 in Dallas-Fort Worth, where he bragged on the phone to Jeffrey Epstein at the time about a girl he raped, who happened to be his chosen daughter. Now, one would look at this tip and think it's the rantings of a crazy man. And by the way, it is. However, Congressman Ted Lieu of California decided to make this a pivotal part of his hearing against Bondi and the Department of Justice, saying this needed to be investigated immediately. Well, Ted, because our Department of Justice has a lot to investigate, I decided to do it for them so they don't have to waste their time and taxpayer dollars. See, anyone can call in a tip to the FBI and it goes to the National Threat Operations Center and it's called an NTOC. And Ted Lieu was all over this NTOC. I see a lot of liberal creators posting NTOCs these days. My hope is by the end of this series, we realize NTOCs are probably by crazy people and we should not be taking them as fact. And stop posting them as such. It's irresponsible. See, Dan has a lot of stories, and I'm going to debunk all of them. And then at the end, I'm going to prove definitively that he did not drive Donald Trump to the DFW airport in 1995, and how it's impossible, using his own words. So let's start with when he picked up George W. Bush from the airport in 1994.
3 presidents.
3.
That's how many people I was a chauffeur for in 1994 and 95 that would become president of the United States.
Okay.
The first one was G.W. Bush.
Okay.
George Sr.'s son. He'll probably remember that because honestly did not realize I was driving the sitting president's son.
Well, that's a fascinating story, Dan. You know, the sitting president of the United States in 1994 was Bill Clinton, not Herbert Walker Bush, George W. Bush's father. Okay, so lie number 1. Okay, let's continue.
I didn't really know who George G.W. Bush really was.
There's a good reason
That's
for that.
a pretty impressive name you have there. Are you related? I also didn't know that the Secret Service had been following me around for, he said.
They were.
Said you didn't know the Secret Service had been following around for probably at least a few days, maybe a week or so.
Yeah.
I said, no, didn't have a clue. He
Really,
said,
Dan?
really? I said, yeah.
The only thing Dan is good at is telling stories. In 1994, George W. Bush was in a heated governor's race against Governor Ann Richards. And guess who protects gubernatorial candidates? The Texas Department of Public Safety and the Texas Rangers, not the Secret Service of former presidents whose kids are fully grown, sir. So no, you didn't drive George W. Bush in 1994. Next up is when he drove Barack and Michelle Obama. I do believe Dan deserves his day in front of Congress, so please let Ted Lieu know his star witness is ready to testify. Dan has said so on his channels. But buckle up, we're just getting started. Like, follow, and share for more. Common Sense Gay out.